The cave was dark and damp, but soon illuminated by the glow of hundreds of ghostly children from many eras. The majority of them were Victorian, but I saw girls and boys from all decades since the 1900s smiling at me. A bigger boy who seemed to be from the 1950s beckoned to me and mentioned for me to stand on a large rock. I asked why, and he said almost malevolent, to be initiated. That's when the fear began to creep into my heart. I started to walk over to the rock, but I saw a little boy hiding behind it, shaking his head in a panic with wide eyes. Jane and the other children started to chanting, "Yes, yes, yes." But my fear became overwhelming, so I stopped. The big boy screamed, "Get her!" And suddenly the children's eyes switched to a ghoulish green as they pounced. I was able to duck and weave, then I clambered my way out of their grasp and raced to get out of the cave. Jane shrieked in an unholy voice, "Come back, you promised." But I kept going until I made it into the forest. I then hear my teacher calling my name, and I was soon breaking through the clearing and falling into my group. When I turned around, I could see the ghostly children's face glaring angrily at me through the trees, but I was safe. In 1976, 26 children, aged 5 to 14, were on their way back from swimming pool field trip in California, when the driver stopped to see if a car that broken down needed any help. Suddenly, 3 masked men stormed into the bus with guns. They drove the children and the bus driver around for 11 hours before eventually stopping at the quarry. They then loaded them into a buried van with tiny bit of food, some water, and some mattress to sleep on. The kidnappers went off to go and make their ransom demands. But the phone lines were too full from all media calls and the families looking for their children. In that time, the bus driver managed to stack up the mattress, allowing them to climb up to the top of the quarry and escape. Amazingly, all of them were fine and lived to tell this terrifying tale. We went on a school trip to an activity resort. We went with my friend Landon on the first day. We did go-karting, rock climbing, and all that stuff before going to bed that night. My ground floor room had a sliding door with a view to the lake at 10 p.m. When it was dark, we went to bed and left the blinds on a sliding door open, and I fell asleep. But I was woken later when Landon screamed at the door. Was a tall, skinny old woman with long gray hair, just staring through the window. She walked away, leaving us in shock. At the end of the day, we fell asleep again. But we woke up to silence, as if there was a strange feeling looming over us. I looked over at the land and to see if he was awake, but I couldn't see him. There was just black, and I realized something was blocking his vision of the other bed. Not something. Someone looked it up, and there was an old woman standing over him. She quickly left, and we did the same on the next morning.